the Digital Marketing Punkcast.
Hello everybody and welcome to the active resistance against bad digital marketing missold by a seedy underworld of digital agencies to small businesses across the world. Every episode I will try and help you clear up the mystery surrounding this digital voodoo that we call digital marketing as we strip away the geek speak and the sales bullshit you may normally hear to give you clear, accessible answers which allows you to empower yourself with your own DIY digital marketing. This is Digital Marketing Punkcast and I am Digital Marketing Punk, and this is episode number 12, and today we're talking about Google My Business. No guest this week, just me, so if you're sick of hearing my voice already, then I would turn off now. This episode was recorded in December of 2018, by the way. Okay, so real short episode this one. I don't want it to be too long. As I said, no guest this week. It's just me, Digital Marketing Punk, helping you with one thing that I've noticed in the last couple of weeks is going to be something which has sort of delved into insignificance recently, and that's Google My Business. Some people call it Google My Places. Some people call it, I don't know, Google Local. It has lots of different names, but I can assure you Google My Business is its actual title. So please don't call it anything else, otherwise you make me mad. Right, Google My Business. The reason I'm doing this is because I bet you, if you have a business, certainly a local business, you run a coffee shop or a laundrette, or, you know, I don't know, you're a plumber, you probably have a Google My Business. If you've been running a while, you probably have a Google My Business, because years and years ago, someone told you, oh, you need to do this thing, and someone sent you a link and you signed up, and then you forgot all about it. You probably don't even know your login. But I bet you, if you go away now, if you're one of these people, if you go away now, Google your business, okay, just put your name, your brand name in, type it in, and then on the right hand side, if you're on a desktop, on the right hand side you will see a listing of your business with your title there. It might have your logo, some information in there, and it will be completely out of date. If you're on a mobile and you've, you know, as most people are now as they're searching, and you go and Google your brand name, you'll probably see it right there in front of you, right at the very start of the search results page, and you may see, again, it's a little out of date, and that's because most people just forget about it. They set it up and then they forget about it, and that's understandable, but I can assure you now is the time of all times to go away and revisit your Google My Business account. Yes, I know Google Plus went horribly wrong and all this data leaking and all that stuff, but I can really assure you that if there was any time to start reconsidering Google My Business, if you think it's just this little tool that you never really use, it was like Yelp and what was the other one? You know, Yellow Pages or Yell.com. It's not anymore, okay? It's so much more powerful than it used to be. So you need to go away and find your logins, you know, on that little post-it note that you've probably put under the side of your desk. Go away and find that login and log back into your Google My Business now, because the year of 2018, as we draw to a close of it, has been one of the most active years for Google My Business in my living memory. And there's so many reasons for that. And that is because the link between Google search and local results and local SEO, I suppose you can call it, and Google My Business has got closer and closer. And if you are one of these businesses who wants to improve their local SEO and target those in your area with search terms relating to your services or your products, then Google My Business is more important than ever. And it stands to reason, because what used to happen on Google My Business is you go in, you type your address in, you type your name of your business in, and that was pretty much all the information you could put in. Oh, you might be able to put a logo or a picture or something, but that was pretty much all the information that you used to get. Now that is couldn't be further from the truth. And I'm going to go through a list of changes that's happened to Google My Business in the last year that will make you realize just how much information Google can store about your business. And the reason that's important is the more information that you have on your Google My Business listing, then the more Google is going to understand about your business. Someone goes away and types in a search term relating to your services or your products, and Google doesn't understand your business enough to be able to rank you high enough, then you're not going to get that traffic. You're not going to get that customer. Okay, so since January 2018, you can now add videos to your Google My Business listing. Now you may be thinking, meh. And that's true, but videos are so hot at the moment, certainly on mobile consumption of video content is absolutely huge. So if you can get a video of your services, of something in situ, of you going around, if you're a plumber, fixing a pipe, because that's what plumbers do, right? As you can tell, I'm a geek, not someone that usually works with their hands. But if you're a plumber and you're fixing a pipe, and you can get a video of that, then it's going to show a lot more about your business. If it looks cool and looks impressive, then people are going to respond to that and react to that, and they're going to feel a little bit more of a connection with you than they perhaps would do from words on a web page, for example. So if you do have video content, you might just have some lying around, then go and add it to your Google My Business listing. I'm going to stop saying Google My Business because it's one of those phrases now which is going to turn into sort of just a noise. So I'm going to say GMB. GMB equals Google My Business. So you can now add a video to your GMB listing. So if you have video content, go and add it. You can now add when your business first opened. Again, not a huge revelation, this one, but it will be important. The more information you can feed into GMB, the better you're going to get out of it, and the more that your website, which is linked to your GMB account, will feel the pull locally, for local SEO, will feel the pull from your GMB listing. So if you do remember the time your business first opened, go and add that in, because there is now an entry in the info section for you to add the information in. You can now add menu items. If you're a restaurant, if you're a cafe, you can now add your menu into GMB, directly into that. Think about that for a second, okay? Without having to even get to your website, people will be able to search through your menu. And yes, this will mean that you'll have to keep that up to date. If your menu changes on a day-to-day basis, then that's going to prove to be difficult. But if you can get people to look at menu items directly from Google, it's so much more likely that, first of all, Google's going to show your listing, and second of all, people are going to want to come to your restaurant or cafe because it's there, it's instantaneous. Click, and they can book. Okay. A second to that, I suppose, if you think about it, you can now add an appointment URL. So if you can do reservations online for a table, through your website, you can add that URL in there. So you can just go, you can search through your menu and you can just make the reservation right there directly. A user gets from A to conversion in one fell swoop. And that's the importance here that we're talking about with GMB. It's right there on the SERP, and it's got so much prominent position, and it's huge now. I don't know if you've noticed this, if you've done searches for businesses in the past. Have you noticed how big, certainly on a desktop, how big that local pack is, that GMB pack is? Massive. Okay. Menu items can be added. So if you are a restaurant or a cafe, go and add it. You can also add services. So if you're not a restaurant or a cafe and you just provide services for your customers, then you can do that, and you can even add a price to that. So if you are a plumber and you do boiler repair, and you do leaking sink repair, and you do shower installation, okay, I'm just pulling off things off the top of my head here, but and you do those services, then you can add them. This one is key. This is crucial, because in the past, if you had a GMB listing and you just went on there and said, I'm Bob the plumber. I know he's a builder, but let's just say, for argument's sake, that Bob is now a plumber. He's changed course, okay? He's not. His back's gone. He needs to ease his back, so now he's a plumber. Not that being a plumber is going to ease your back in any which way, but still, if you think about it, you have a myriad of different services as a plumber. Okay, you're a plumber, so you're expected to do a series of things, but what are people actually searching for? Well, nowadays, people aren't just searching for plumber in Liverpool or plumber in Manchester anymore. They're searching for the thing which they are looking for. I have a leaking shower, for example. I don't, but let's just say I have. I have a leaking shower, so I'm going to put into Google leaking shower. And if I'm doing that on a mobile, then they're going to have my location. So what is the likelihood of me typing in leaking shower into Google with my mobile knowing my location and that local pack showing my business there right at the very top of the SERP? Very, very likely if I added my services into my GMB listing. So I can't recommend that enough. To go in, if you have a series of different services which you offer your customers, go and add your services now. Certainly if you haven't been on your GMB for the past year. You can also add a description field. A weird one, this, because for some reason in my head, I thought you could always add a description to your GMB, but apparently you couldn't. And you can now add a description about your business. So you're no longer just your brand. Let's say it was me. My brand is Digital Marketing Punk. I'm not going on Google My Business anymore and just typing in Digital Marketing Punk. I can now say, well, Digital Marketing Punk is, a podcast host and a podcast, and he's a speaker, and he's a consultant, and he's a digital marketing trainer, and he does all these things. Okay, I can actually describe exactly what my business does to these people, and that will be shown from the very offset. And it's not just showing that to people, it's showing that to Google, so Google can get that contextual information that it requires. And I know I always say it, and other SEOs will say it as well, that you're not optimizing for a robot anymore. At least you shouldn't be. That's a bad path to go down. But when it comes to GMB, there is that balance you need to take into consideration. You need to give enough information for Google to understand it. Don't take Google for granted. It's smarter than you think. It's smarter than me. It's probably smarter than you. So you need to give it enough information and make that content appealing enough for a human to understand and to feel enticed to go and book an appointment with you, to go through and do that. So you should be adding the description in so Google gets that contextual information and humans get that contextual information as well. Okay. Posts. This is a massive one that happened this year. Okay. You can now add posts to your GMB listing. It's kind of like a weird ass social media that you can have through the search engine results pages. So what you can do now, if you log into your GMB listing, you can now sort of post out and promote events and services and products that you want to sort of get out there onto the people that are searching for your business, which is really cool, actually. It's a really cool thing to do. You can do it for, like I say, services. You can do it for products. You can do it for events that you're running. So it's a really good way of sort of getting that promotion, that campaign into the eyes of people, or getting content into the eyes of people. As long as you make it appealing, as long as you're doing it well, if you're doing it often enough, you'll probably find you're going to get the results from that as well. So you can now add posts, and you can link off to pages in your website and things like that. A really good feature, that. And if you're not doing it, your competition will. So you should be doing it. You should be thinking about it. And again, it's just giving that giving Google that contextual information for it to work off. And also think about this from Google's point of view. And that's what I always try and get my clients to think about it. Think a bit from Google's point of view. If you're the one that's not adding posts to your GMB listing and your competitors are, who would you pick to show at the top of the results? Okay, pretty clear, pretty obvious. Okay, query insights. You never used to be able to get this, but you can now get query insights. That means what people are searching for in order for your local pack, your GMB listing, to show up on Google. Really just a good way of getting feedback, because GMB used to be a bit of a closed book. You used to just hope, cross your fingers and hope, and obviously you could do tests by putting in different things into Google and stuff, but it used to be just a case of hit and hope. So now you can get those insights. So if there are, I was speaking to a friend of mine on LinkedIn recently when I made a post about this, and he was saying that he has a company, a sort of a business name which is not generic, but it's not a typical brand name. It's not like Nike, which doesn't mean anything else. It doesn't mean anything else. It's like a Greek goddess or something, isn't it? But it's a brand name. It means other things, and it can have different connotations. And he was saying that if he put his brand name in all in one word, not separated out in the words, then he gets his listing appears, just it instantly appears right at the top. But if he separates it out, he doesn't get it. So he can get that information from the queries insights, and he can see, okay, what is triggering my Google My Business, and that's the information you need to think, okay, well, maybe I need to add this information into my GMB somewhere, or I need to add this service in for things to be triggered in this way. So really good information that you can get out of GMB now. Okay, next one, call button. There's now a call button. There never used to be a call button on GMB, but now you have a call button. That means that if you type your phone number in, which you can do on GMB, if you hit the call button on a mobile, it will just call the business rather than sending you off to a web page, which is really good. Again, just that instant gratification thing. If you're typing in a brand name, the user just wants to be able to contact that business as quickly and easily as possible. So you can now do that. So if you're not updating your GMB listing, and you're not getting the results or the ranking in your GMB, in your local searches, then you could be missing out big time on those sorts of click to calls. People just clicking the button and going, right, I want to call them. Okay, moving on. You can now follow a business. So we talked about posts before, how you can add posts. So people can now, directly from the search results page, just click follow, and they'll now follow all of your business updates. Again, think about the audience that you can build and grow. And I can understand people thinking, oh, it's just another thing for me to update. I've got Facebook, I've got Twitter, I've got LinkedIn, I've got Instagram, I've got Snapchat, and now I've got to think about GMB. Yes, you do. And when people sort of come to me and say, oh, I've got all these things to update, you're spreading yourself too thin. Where's your audience hanging out? Are they actually hanging out on Twitter? Maybe not. Are they actually hanging out on Snapchat? Is your audience 12? Then they're probably not hanging out on Snapchat. So you need to take those considerations in. Centralize. And to be honest, everybody's using search. There's no designated audience with search. So you really should be prioritizing that quite high. And if you don't see the results, you don't see the results. You stop using it, but you should damn try. And that's the point. So you can now follow businesses from Google My Business, which is really, really cool if you're posting really good, Black Friday's just been, so you could post about your Black Friday offer, and people that are following it can see it instantly. I'll probably get pushed straight to the phone as well, which would be cool. So all those changes for Google My Business happened this year. What will happen next year? And the idea around this is pretty sound, because if you think about it, Google needs as much information which it can sort of tag and contextualize in a way for the likes of voice search and Google Assistant and things like that. We saw at Google I/O this year, that with Duplex, you're going to be able to instantly call a business up, and Google Assistant will be able to make the appointment for you. So it's still going to need that information, that contextual information, to be able to have a better conversation, to be able to interact with the business easier and quicker. So that's all Google's trying to do. We also know from research that's come out recently is that the link between local SEO and GMB has become stronger. It used to be a lot looser. Used to be more designated around just sort of having those location landing pages in and making those. Now Google say they're spammy. We don't want that kind of thing. It's kind of tarnishing the reason of quality content. So now we're making a stronger post for GMB and making a stronger listing. You're going to get that traffic come through that. And it makes sense. Google's giving you this real estate which you need to use. It's giving you this potential traffic which you need to utilize. So my advice to you very, very quickly, and the last thing I'm going to say, if you haven't updated your GMB listing in the past year, go and do it now and fill out all the information that you can, and do it quickly before your competition does. Okay, thank you very much, and thank you for listening. I would love to hear if you have any questions, queries, feedback, if you need help with Google My Business, if you feel I've missed something about Google My Business, do get in contact. I'd love to hear from you. You can email me, punkcast@digitalmarketingpunk.co.uk. You can connect with me all across social media. Find me on Facebook, facebook.com/digitalmarketingpunk. You can find me on Twitter @punk_digital and Instagram digitalmarketingpunk. Also connect with me on LinkedIn by searching for Digital Marketing Punk and my lovely, beautiful face will appear right in front of your very eyes. And if you haven't done so already, it would be really great if you could subscribe to this podcast. And if you really love it and you enjoy what I'm doing, first of all, tell me just so I can go, but also give me a 5-star review on iTunes and whatever platform that you're on. That would be absolutely fantastic. I hope you'll join me on the next episode of the Digital Marketing Podcast. So have a great day, and don't forget, go and update your Google My Business listing. Do it now.